Girl, slay the house down boots, mama.
Now that was a bad choice.
Right. No. Don't try to change the subject. Spill the tea.
Okay, but what was she expecting?
Well, that bitch is crazy.
Honestly, Papa, we should have talked first.
Can you blame her?
She should probably drink a little less. Literally. Well, let's get into it then. It's time to spill the tea with Damen B.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with Damen B. And of course, we have Gigi back with
Hi.
us.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to be talking about religion.
Oh.
Grandma says that, but it was her idea.
Okay. Not really. It wasn't my idea. Somebody suggested that we elaborate a little bit on our views. And I was always taught, I'm just going to start out with the fact that I was always taught that you don't discuss with strangers or, outside of your family, politics, religion, or money.
Well, we've been doing all three. So.
Right. And it seems like today nobody cares. So, but it's a touchy subject, and I understand that. I do understand that. So I'm going to let you start.
Okay. Well,
I just wanted to mention this hair.
Oh yeah, Grandma's new hair. It looks amazing.
Adorable? Oh my
no
God.
one can clock her that it's a wig because it looks seamless.
Oh, it's just seamless. Okay, go.
Okay, so why do you think religion was like a taboo subject or something you just discussed in the home and not with other people?
Well, that was how people's views were in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And it's only recently, possibly your generation is responsible for this. I don't know who is responsible for opening up topics and being more maybe comfortable in talking about it, but I also feel like that also causes more divide between people. So in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you may have believed one thing, but you kept that within your home and your church. Now it goes out on social media. You're comfortable, you know what I mean? So people are more comfortable in talking about their beliefs and their religions and how it differs from other people. And I don't know. I don't know that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
So in 1950, when you were born, when were what were the major?
I was not born in 1950.
You said the 50s, 60s, and 70s. How would you know?
That was kind of like that was the all-American sort of family time, those years. And those years that was the rule. You didn't discuss politics, money, or religion outside of your home.
Okay. So what kind of religions do you know about? Because there's a whole bunch of different religions.
I know about a lot of religions because I've looked into a lot of religions. I've always been a very curious person. So when I was taught as a child, because most people in North America are brought up Christian, right? For the most part, I'm sure as the immigration grows and different religions come, that may change. But at the moment, most of us are Christians or raised Christian. So I was sent to Sunday school and at a couple of different churches, which I didn't understand there was any difference between churches at that time. And so I learned the Sunday school, Bible. And even at that time, I had a lot of questions that nobody seemed to be able to answer. And at that time, as I said before, our generation was told to shut up, sit down, listen. You don't get to ask questions. That's not for us to do. We're just supposed to believe whatever we're supposed to believe. So I, after, as I got older, I actually have read the Bible, and it was difficult for me because I find it very misogynistic in that it's a book written by
Mhm.
men for
Mhm.
men
Mhm.
to rule men.
Well,
And
women
women don't really
Mhm.
have a role in, um, even though we give birth to all children, so we populate the world. Um, in many ways, there's not a lot, um, you know, of deference to women.
Well, it's because women are emotional and they need to be told what to think and how to think.
Right.
And
So,
that's why there's a guide on
oh, thank you
how
for explaining that. Thank you for mansplaining that to me. Um,
You're
so
welcome.
I have also looked into other religions. So there's
Mhm.
Hinduism, there's Native American, like there's Native
Yep.
religions, which I kind of buy into more. I also have a feeling of, um, the Bible was written by people from the Middle East. And I
Yeah.
can't quite, and maybe it's just my background or I can't quite bring those two together. Why in North America? And maybe that is because I do have native Indian in me, that I can't bring those two together. That doesn't mean that Native Indians don't believe in the Bible, because my goodness, um, they do. So then
Um,
there's all kinds of other religions. Yeah.
so I've gone through I think in school, this was actually cool. I'm surprised this was allowed. And I think it was grade 4. We took a trip to another school. It was like all three schools coming together in our district. And there was like a heritage and Native American heritage kind
Hmm.
of day. And we got to learn about their culture and what they believe in and like animals and spirits. And they did these really cool they did smudging,
Right.
um and then we got to learn our spirit animals, and I'm an eagle, which I was
Oh,
like, that
that's
is really cool.
nice.
I know, right? My other grandma was jealous because in the Chinese calendar, I'm also a
Yeah.
dragon on the Chinese calendar, and she's a
Oh,
rat, and she's like,
yeah.
"What the fuck? I'm a
Yeah,
rat."
I can't remember what I am. I think I might be something like a monkey or something stupid. I don't know. I can't remember. Not that
But
monkeys are really stupid, but I don't know. I just thought,
um but we got to learn about the Native American kind of their beliefs and
right.
everything, and I thought that was really cool and different. And the town that I grew up in was very religious. We had like what is it, 11 churches in that town, and then I think like two shut down. So there's like nine, but yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
it
like there's a
seems
lot.
the churches are sort of, some churches, some are growing and then some are sort of fading away. And I think with the Catholic religion, especially, they've had a lot of issues.
Hmm.
Um, and that has caused a lot of problems for their attendance, which I can understand because, I wouldn't take my child to a Catholic church and drop them off, that's for sure. Um, and other churches are, I think in Canada we're a little more progressive, so you see sort of religion kind of falling off, for more so than the United States. The United States is more 50-50. We're more 80% or 75-25. Um, and I think it's just a matter of, for me, I'll just say for me specifically, I have looked into a lot of different things over the years, and I see almost all religions as the same thing. And maybe that will upset and anger some people, but I think at the end of the day, Allah and God are the same person, or the same entity. And whether possibly there is an entity, I'm never ever going to ever say there isn't. Um, I just don't believe in the Bible and what it says. That being said, there's a lot of things in the Bible that are good things. In that, like people, the Ten Commandments. What a great thing
What a
to
great set of
have
rules.
a great set of rules. It really is.
Yeah.
And for society to live by. I just think it is. And so I think there's a lot that came out of the Bible that has actually become law. Like
Oh, 100%.
yeah, that comes from the Bible. So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I think it's also been used over the years for a lot of bad things. I think. I think it has. And I don't like that.
So I just want to pause for a second.
Mhm.
Because I washed this shirt last week and I just put
Oh.
it on right now
Mhm.
before the podcast, and it still smells delicious. Wash this with Tide Pods. Tide Pods. Yeah,
Oh, you're confident Tide Pods.
my confident
Like
Tide
you should be
Pods.
getting up and doing a dance. We
I'm
need to
s-
do like a commercial for Tide Pods. Is
I'm
anybody
still
out there for
waiting
Tide?
for them to reach out. Yeah.
Because we
These
need to be
are
doing
the
a
best
commercial.
things.
Yeah.
Tide Pods, like
We are
this smells
interrupting the
amazing.
Bible.
There's well, there's more important things going on in the world. This it's been a week, 1 week in my closet, and still smells fresh.
Awesome.
Call me a believer.
Hallelujah to Tide Pods.
Hallelujah. Tide Pods is
So
mine, Jesus.
I think in religion, also there's a like you deal with a lot of persecution by
Mhm.
religious groups. I think
Yes.
I think women also have to deal with a lot of persecution, especially with their reproductive rights. Um,
Yeah.
Abortion is looked at by religions as bad and wrong.
Mhm.
Um, I look at it like it's a fact of life. And the problem I see, and it's more so in the States than here, we still, well, I will say that there's been some, um, you know, um, political groups that lean more towards religion that have moved into provinces, and suddenly that province no longer has uh, a clinic that performs abortions. So we may
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
see in Canada or say, no, no, that won't happen. It has happened. I know of actually two provinces that you have no access to that
One
anymore.
one one's New Brunswick, right?
Yes, and the other has been for years Quebec, because they are
Damn.
a very Catholic religion and background in Quebec. I just know from experience of working that a lot of people had to travel a long way to to exercise their reproductive rights outside of their
Well,
province.
okay.
So I feel like that's something that goes against my grain. There are two things in my
Mhm.
life that I hold solid. One of them is reproductive rights for women, and one is homosexual or LGBTQ IA with the two feathers.
AI?
Right.
AI?
IE.
It's I.
Okay, I'm gonna get it. I will. I
Okay,
promise you.
no,
It's a lot of
okay.
letters in a row. They
So
gotta they gotta bring that
I'll
down somewhat.
I'll tell you what it is. So it's 2 SLGBTQIA plus.
It should like make a word, like
I
like
know.
an
An
acronym.
acronym. Yeah, an
Yes,
acronym.
it doesn't. It's so
Um,
hard.
okay.
I will
So
get it
I'll
though.
okay. So
Mm,
I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about religion. I like the community aspect of it
mm,
bringing people together. I went
yes.
to a youth group growing up from like grade 4 to like maybe grade 7, grade 8. And I think it was every Wednesday at like 7 p.m. at the school. And they would
Hmm.
do 30 minutes of learning from the Bible and doing and us singing songs, and then there was 30 minutes of physical activity, so like dodgeball or whatever, which that was the part I really went for. However,
Mhm.
I did learn a lot about the Bible, and I really did like singing all the, little
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, the hymns
Um,
and the little, like,
yeah,
children's songs. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, and then I just some parts I was like, I was like, was there what is it, like a cyclops? He had one eye and someone shot like a rock in it, and I was just like, this
Oh,
because
yeah,
I was
that's David and Goliath,
yeah, because
right?
I was
Yeah.
big on Greek mythology,
Mhm,
and I
mhm.
was just like, this goes like
It
with the
sounds a
Greek
lot like it,
mythology.
right? Because prior
Yeah.
to, Christianity, there was
Mhm.
the, Greek gods, and the Romans believed in
Yep.
gods, and so all of that was around when Christianity was also around, and then they had the wars, and where, I mean, if you didn't believe in Christianity, you were killed. Let's face it. And they made their religion the religion of, Europe, which then made its way over to North America. But it originated in the Middle East.
Mhm.
Jesus was a Jew, was a Jewish person who was the son of very, very Jewish people who, and apparently, because I really, if Jesus existed, I bet I don't believe that. I'm just gonna say it. I don't believe he ever existed. But if he did, he was like one of those guys on Sunday morning television. And he was like a guy that got up on a platform, and he was someone
Oh, yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
people just wanted to see and wanted to be around, and which is okay, fine, great, great for a religion, right? He was preaching wonderful things. Um, None of it had to do with not liking gays, or gay is sin or anything like that. So he was saying, but he just wanted the rules of the Judaism relaxed a little bit. So Christianity is an actual relaxed, like, piece of Judaism, and
Mhm.
some of the rules are just relax, calm down, everyone. We're going to take this down a notch. That's why he was put on the cross, and that's why his life was taken, apparently. Um, I don't do I
Yeah.
believe his mother was a virgin? Absolutely not. I am completely scientific in mind. She either had an affair and didn't want to tell her husband, or, like, I don't know what else to tell, or they had sex before they were married. I don't know. Like, her husband, she was married already, so I'm not even, like, I'm pretty sure Joseph was his dad. I'm not getting the whole reasoning behind having to say that, you know, only if Joseph knew that he wasn't sleeping with her at the time, then she becomes pregnant, and it's like, hey, what's going on here? So, like, simple. So there is an also not a religion, but a thought process, and it's called deism. And I think that's where my religion lies, or my belief system, and it's called reason over religion. And it doesn't mean that you can't, have a belief,
Mhm.
but what it means is reason thing you have God gave you, or this entity, or however we were created, gave us reasoning abilities to reason out things. And my ability to reason out that Mary was not a virgin is just simply there. There's nobody it has never happened again. Like, it's not like it was a, I don't know, and scientifically impossible. That's where my brain lies.
So I actually don't care about religion at all anymore. Um, because and okay, I'll tell you, I've had so much hate for being gay and told
Yeah.
I'm evil and I'm bad and I'm a sinner and blah 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 blah. And I don't know. I do believe there's a higher power, and I did believe in God. I do believe in God. It's a maybe or kind of situation. Have I
Right.
tried praying the gay away? Yes. Is it gone? No.
Oh,
Same
Damon,
thing.
don't
Yeah.
ever do that. Don't ever do that.
Well, it
That's what
was
I'm saying.
long ago. It was long ago. Now I'm
Okay.
comfortable with who I am and
Okay,
whatever.
good. Yeah.
So, did I also pray for my anxiety to go away because I believe that's what was making my anxiety was all this
Mhm.
stuff around my
Yeah.
life going on. And did Jesus take that away? No, but the medication, hell yeah, it did. Like,
Scientifically plausible, right? Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
that's why I don't care for religion. Now, if someone wants to believe what they want to believe, I'm all for it. You go ahead and live your life. I just don't want your life to impact my life. I'm really happy. I'm happy going on dates with men. I Men are assholes. That's just a fact. Men are dicks, but that's for every
yeah,
man
don't
in the
us all
world.
us women know that, so
Um,
hello?
oh, is grandma breaking up? Grandma,
Uh-oh.
we got
Am I?
internet issues. What's happening?
Oh, dear. Is it still?
Okay, well, grandma's gone. Uh, so hopefully she'll
Okay.
rejoin soon. Um, anyways, so I'll just keep going. Maybe. So all men are assholes. Fact. Including myself. Am I attracted to them? Yeah. And it's not going to change. So, I mean, I've talked to men who back in the day, their parents put them in conversion therapy. Did they marry a woman and have children? Yes. Are they sleeping with guys now? Yes. It doesn't it doesn't work long term. I guess you'd have to keep them in conversion therapy, but I think I've talked to 4 different guys I've met. Yeah. So that's my thought process behind it is, it doesn't work. You're born this way and you are who you are. And people need to get over it. Moving on. It's 2024 now, which is so hard to believe. Oh my god. Can grandma get back in? Let me text grandma.
I'm
Graham.
back. I'm sorry, I don't know
Oh
what happened
oh
there.
my goodness. We
Yeah,
lost you. Okay. It's okay. Okay. I'm
it's
gonna
excellent.
recap real quick
That's
what
what
I
a
just said while
professional
you were
does.
away, because I kept the script rolling.
Exactly.
Okay. And I'm a professional. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So I said all men are assholes. That's a fact. But am I still sexually attracted to them? Yes. Like, I've been with men, four or five men who's told me their
Oh,
story of when they were growing up, they were sent to conversion therapy or the gay camps and stuff. Did they marry women and have 2 kids? Yes. Did they love their
right.
wives and their children? Yes, because they had formed a relationship with them. Are
Right,
they
and
sleeping with
now
men now?
now
Yes,
their
because they've
children and their
divorced their
family are
wives. Their
broken.
true selves
Their
eventually come
wives are
out.
divorcees, not of their own choice. Their children are bastards. They don't have like their dad is gone and living his best life now. That's what I'm saying. Like don't anytime it doesn't matter what you are, like even a serial killer, try to hide
Exactly.
yourself. You can't hide yourself forever. It comes out. So I'm not saying that gays are equal to serial killers. I'm just saying if you try and hide yourself, if you're
No.
someone
Yeah.
who is passive and tries to act like you're aggressive, eventually it comes out or whatever the deal is, whatever deal you have going on. You can't just keep hiding and acting because eventually you get tired of the act and you come out. There might be a few guys, and I'm sure from the 50s and 60s that made it all the way through with just having flings on the
Mhm.
side and their wives never knowing about it. But I'm telling you, most of them were miserable and their wives' lives were not fun. I mean, how is that fun for anybody or good?
Yeah, so I also wanna
Correct.
touch on the part where it's 2 consenting
I don't know.
adults who are having sex. So what is the problem? Honestly, that's all I see.
Right, and I
Who
think that,
cares?
again, if we go
Honestly, it's
back
none of
to,
anyone else's business who
some
you're sleeping with.
people or
Yeah.
places need a dog. They need a dog to kick, and so they find those, small groups of people. Years ago, it was Black people, like, and it still is, but I'm not saying that has ended at all, but it's a little bit better now. Um, or Chinese people after the war, Japanese people, just they find those little groups and then they have to kick them and kick them and kick them, and they get people on board with this, thinking that like all these people are not bad people. They get them on board by saying like we want them to do
Mhm.
right, we want everyone to go to heaven, we want everyone to be not a sinner. And so to do that, this person needs to change this and this person needs to change that. A serial killer, yes, needs to change because they can't go around killing people, but that's jail's problem, not church. You can't change a person's
Yep.
makeup. And scientifically, I believe, scientifically, people are made up. Genetically, people are made up. And when that genetic makeup, that's who you are. And so you can't pray the gay away. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Are there people who dabble? Or is like I often think, like I used to think the scale of sexuality was white, black. Now I think it's
Mhm.
like all in between. And I think I truly do. I think there's absolutely heterosexual people and I think there's absolutely homosexual people. And then I think there's a
Yep.
whole gamut of people in between. I think there are men who like to sleep with men, who like to sleep with women, who there's women who like to sleep with women, who like to sleep with men. And I think that we have to stop labeling. All the label is a label that came out of that book. When you open that book.
So that's a great point, Grandma, because honestly, I don't the only reason why I say I'm gay is because I'm attracted to men. But if someone
We're gonna
literally
have to do like two
okay,
of these.
here's the thing. I know, right? So I don't know. I like to call myself a free spirit. I don't care. If I get drunk, I've kissed my girlfriends
No.
before. They've kissed me. Am I sexually attracted to them? No. And I like to sleep with men. But I don't care what people call themselves, what they do. My friends and I know we're not going to sleep with each other. Fact. Like that's a fact. We know we're not going to sleep with each other. Have we kissed each other?
Yeah,
Yes. Did one of them give me mono?
that doesn't care if you're gay or
100%.
straight. Not at all. Neither do it. Any of those diseases, people,
Yeah.
they all go to
Right?
everybody. It's not just one or the other. It's everyone. Yeah, and that's science. That's science over
Exactly.
here, and that's where
But
my brain
it's
goes
I
to.
don't
So I
care.
feel like the
Like
Indian, the Native American um, logic is, you're born and you live and then you die and you go back to the earth that feeds the animals that we eat, that they eat the grass, that we eat the animals, and we die and we continue. So it's a life cycle, and that makes sense to me. I understand that. All of this
mhm.
book, reading this book, that, by the way, I just looked up, the New Testament of the Bible has been rewritten over 30,000 times since it's been written. So I just want to say, number one, what are you reading and going by? I don't even know, because how many, and not by women, just let me say that there is not a woman's hand that has gone into those corrections or whatever they're doing in there. It's all by men, and I'm telling you, a lot of it is about control. It used to be a control of the people, because you had the people, kings and queens, and then it went down, and they, if you thought,
Mhm.
so if you worked 20 hours or 18 hours a day, they would tell you, if you're a good Christian, your life is gonna get so much better when you die. You're going to go to heaven. And it's so, and you look at the Middle Eastern religion, um, and they say, oh, you're going to have 30 virgins when you get there. As long as you're a good Christian and do your work now, as long as you work hard and you don't question and you don't do anything, all of this is going to happen to you after you die. I worked in a vets where we put down, I maybe with thousands of dogs, and it's sad, and it's, but I watched the light go out in those eyes over and over and over. I've seen I found my
Oh
husband dead.
God, don't
I
say that.
watched my mother die. And I'm going to say this to you. That's, and maybe that has peppered or caused how I look at things, but I will say that when the light goes out, the light goes out. And we are no different than a dog or a cat or a mouse or a squirrel or a little wee beetle. We really aren't. We're mammals. Our body. So if you, and I don't like, if you have to hold on to something and feel like that's okay. It's okay to have that. But don't turn that on someone else. Don't be in judgment of someone else. Judge your own life. Do your own thing. But don't turn to someone else just because you need that to hold on to. Doesn't mean everyone else needs that to hold on. And maybe everyone else needs something a little bit different than that to hold on to get them through.
So I will say, some people believe in crystals, and I'm bringing this
It's
up because
like,
I just ordered
what?
like $200 worth of crystals.
Okay. Okay.
But it's because
Okay.
they're really pretty. I'll send pictures when I get them. I'm gonna hang them up in my windows. Anywho, so some people believe in
Hmm.
crystals, and they believe in putting them in their underwear, putting them in their pockets, and doing around with them. Does it help them do
Right.
better
It's
in
like a
life?
sugar
I
pill.
actually think so because
Yeah.
it's mentally helping them. They said this crystal, yeah, yeah, it's like this crystal is
Right.
for wealth and money. I'm gonna do great in life. I'm gonna go out and get that money. And what do? A lot of people, or they have something. I'm not saying everyone who's rich and,
Hmm.
successful done this, but usually
And that
people have
might be
something
God.
that's a
That may
motivator
be
that
God.
thinks
It may
that's
be the
gonna help
Bible.
them in
It
life.
may be Allah.
Yeah,
It may
exactly.
be who's the, I look like him when I went and tried on bathing suits today. Who's the, no.
The Grim Reaper. I d-
He wears, I would rather look like him. He wears a lot of
Mm,
clothes. No, Buddha.
the Crypt Keeper.
Buddha. You know, the
I don't
big
know, Grandma.
belly?
Keep going.
Yes, that's what I, yeah. So, I mean,
Oh,
even,
Buddha.
but I don't think that one
Him
religion
too.
should look at
Okay.
another and say that you are wrong or you are right. And you're right about even religion. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think you should give up. If you believe in God, then you shouldn't give up on religion. You should find the one that fits you,
Mhm.
because there are religions out there. And even the Catholic Church recently has said that we welcome homosexuals into our fold. And the reason why they did that, I'm going to tell you, is because they are
Oh, I've
bleeding
seen that.
members, and they have to figure out a way to bring it back together. And one of them is by welcoming. And I think if religions started doing that instead of excluding, you would see a whole different attitude, because I think there's a lot of people at the end of the day, like yourself possibly, who say, "Hey, I believe in God. I just don't want to be judged, and I don't want to be called a sinner, or I don't want to be called out. So I'm not going to go to that church, and I'm not going to do that." And I
Mhm.
think, and that, this is where I said to you, you might be surprised in how I think of this. I think that church in itself is a wonderful, wonderful place to meet people, good, honest people. It's a wonderful place to go where you have that
Yes.
once a week, oh, I have this, and I'm going to have a social interaction at least once a week, and you're going to meet friends and you're going to talk to people. And so I think it is a very good thing. And I think, like, even back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, That was the main reason why people went to church. There was no internet. Nobody's sitting behind a camera or in behind a screen and talking to people. They went to church for their social interactions. And I think that's not a bad thing and maybe should be picked up more now.
Mhm.
But be more inclusive. That's what I would like to see. What do you think?
Well, I'm just kidding. No, I think again, I totally agree. I wish it was more
Some.
inclusive,
Some are
or I
now,
think
some
it is
aren't,
now,
and I
but
think that what's gonna happen to
back
them
then,
is
some.
they're gonna go by the wayside. I mean, they may pick up speed for a little while, but I think at some point, that's not gonna, it's not gonna hold because people are progressing more.
So, oh, also I want
Oh,
to touch
no,
on
you're
this point. So I've been
not.
told a lot that I've been going to hell for my homosexuality. Meanwhile, well, okay, there's I want to make 2 points. One
Yeah,
is people do a lot worse things than me in life that they think they're going to heaven for. Number 2, if I did go
right.
to hell for being gay, I'd rather be down there with all the other
Right, and that's
homosexuals.
what I
Let me
always
tell
say
you, it's gonna be a party, mama.
to my husband when we talk about it is if this non-inclusive entity is the thing that's standing at the pearly gates and says, to you, I I don't want to be inside of there, standing there waiting for you, and you can't get in, and seeing you turned away. Like I probably go and punch him in the face or something. Right, and
Punch him in
right,
the face.
exactly.
Well,
And I'm pretty sure if
I'll
it's
try to
ran by
sleep my
men,
way in if I have
you'll
to,
have no
but
difficulty at all because it's all just you know, but that no, and that's the thing. I just don't think I think an entity that is and I don't even buy into any heaven, any hell. I don't. And the reason I just feel like if there is an
yeah,
entity, that entity is not sitting up in a on a throne like Thor, which very similar images, right? And I don't think he's
yeah.
sitting there and millions of people dying every day, children, babies, starving to death while we sit and podcast away with all our stuff. Um, and God just sitting there up on his throne deciding whether this baby comes in and that one does like really I don't yeah I'm not down for any of that I just I don't buy it.
Yeah,
What I do believe scientifically we all
it's too much
carry and we
work. Oh,
all as in all mammals all living breathing things do carry some form of energy and they're um sort of stumped in the sense of what happens to that because it actually doesn't die. That doesn't die. So that's an interesting sort of offshoot of dying is that you have this energy and they say, well, where does that go? And quite
yeah,
often you'll hear of sort of hauntings after someone dies or sightings or hearing things. And some will say,
yeah,
maybe that's that energy is stuck there in the house or stuck where they're happiest or whatever and they haven't dissipated yet and that dissipation and the other thing I believe too is they say, how will you see like you go on and on and on. Well, genetically, yes, you do. And if you don't have children, then you don't. And that's sad and whatever. But that's how you leave a piece
yeah,
of you is genetically. But you also have you also have cousins, and so that genetics is left. And so like the religious part
yeah.
is oh you're flying around and like grandma's watching you. No, she's not. Grandma's inside of you, like grandma is in your
I
genetics.
hope she's
That's what
not.
yeah,
God.
not inside. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah.
yeah, well people will say like grandma's up in
She's
heaven
watching
watching
you?
you
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh god. Yeah, yeah. Is that
I hope
maybe
she's
an
not. I
issue?
really hope she's not.
I wonder, do they have to shut the curtains when things are
Yeah,
going on, or I don't want to see that.
right?
So, like, I also think like things are intertwined. So, like
Yeah,
religion and science, sometimes like that sort of thing is intertwined in the. So they say they're seeing you or
yeah,
they're with you yes, genetically, they absolutely are with you, and they never go away. So, I mean, even if you didn't know your father, grandfather, whatever, he's still with you.
So I'm gonna tell you why I believe in an afterlife and why maybe not in religion. So one is I just have a hope
Right.
that I will be
Hmm.
able still connected to my family members such as you and like my mother and everything when I pass along. That's a nice pleasing thought that really puts me to rest. I'm worried about not being able
Hmm.
to see you and tell you I love you
I know.
past the point of death. What was my second point? Oh, the second point. There's too many. I feel like coincidences that happen in life,
Right.
just like the math, science, how like numbers work out. I just feel like
Right.
I can't wrap my head around. There's
Yeah, it
planets
all
like it
came
was just all
together.
here.
It all
Like it
came
was
together,
just
right?
all
And
bam.
and
You know,
and
that's
again,
something I just can't.
scientifically,
Mhm.
it's like, wow, it all came together. Water, oxygen, like everything came together to make us be able to live on this
Exactly.
planet. And now we're finding out that that's probably millions and millions and millions of planets out, like beyond our reach. But I wonder what's out there. So for me, I
Hmm.
often think entity, and I'm going like alien. Seriously, like who did this? And we were made without the
Aliens.
comprehension of, like, a dog was sort of made without the comprehension of death. Humans were made without the comprehension of not being able to see the end. And apparently there's no end, which boggles, like, that literally gives me
Yeah.
anxiety thinking about that. There's no end to these, like, space.
Right? I'm like, what? Okay, first of all, why are we exploring space?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's like
yeah. Yeah,
82% of the ocean we still haven't
yeah,
explored
yeah,
yet, or something like
exactly,
that.
and
Let's
it's,
focus on
and then we
what
find
we're
out, like, it
dealing
just
with.
goes on and on and on. So, and then you think about things like, how come, up until the 1800s, there's people on this planet for, like, now they're going back, I'm pretty sure, tens of thousands, or like 60,000. I don't know if it's even more than that. But then, in the 1800s, suddenly we are driving we're making cars, we're making planes, we're doing all these weird, and now look at us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they built
The
those.
pyramids? Oh, I just
Yeah,
want to say
like,
the
there's a lot
pyramids
of
and like
question
the
about what was going on.
structures.
Now, some would say that's
Right.
God's hand. God has given us, and okay, for me, I go, "Okay, well, God is who? Is that
The
like an
slaves.
alien,
The
or is that?"
slaves.
No, but being able to construct
Like,
those pyramids to begin with without the yeah, and, like,
oh,
figuring out
yeah,
how,
yeah, I
after
see you.
all the way up to the 1800s being practically cave people, and then suddenly we're flying around and driving cars, and then we're watching TV, and now we're on cell phones, like, within 200 years. It's just, and yet 60,000 years have gone by and we couldn't figure this out. Like, I don't get that either. Like, are we getting smarter, or did somebody
Hmm.
drop something in there in the 1800s and say, "Come on, guys, move it up. Here's a little DNA or something to get us going."
Right? Actually, okay, big conspiracy
Okay,
theory
I
here.
said
It would be
that.
kind of cool
Yes.
if we were a science experiment of like aliens or something. And it's like they come
My
and
part
drop
of
by
the
little
game.
tidbits like, "Okay, this
I
isn't moving
I
fast
wrote
enough.
a
Let's
short
give them a hint.
story, and I
Let's
said,
give
like,
them a
that, like,
little
there's
let's
all these
yeah."
like, sitting around a table, and it was literally like a Parcheesi game. Like, they were in an old age home sort of thing, and they're sitting you know what I'm talking about, like, out in a courtyard, and you sit around and you see these tables where they play, like, old
Yeah,
people play checkers. Only it's these old guys are all leaned over this game, and it's
yeah,
actually inside, you see, and it's the earth, and they're doing things to it, like your, tornadoes and your volcanoes, and then the other guy's like doing a plane
yeah.
crash, and this guy's like bringing Putin, into the in like, he's making him the world leader, and Donald Trump becomes like, they're like, "Ha, ha, ha, watch this." Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah, and they're vetting, and they're
And
seeing
they're all
what they
putting
can
money
do
in. Yeah.
to, like, and but where does the game end? That's the thing.
Well, okay, so I think the game ends
Right.
ultimately when we kill each other off, basically, which is
Mhm,
pollution, like,
mhm.
us killing ourselves. They gave us all the tools and everything, which I'm not saying like, we live in a great world. We have computers, everything, but we have so much waste and so much garbage. We're just killing like the planet that we're kind of on, and then yet we have people thinking, okay, what
No,
kind
and
of planet can we live on
I don't
next
think
or whatever? When
genetically,
it's just like
again,
we shouldn't be thinking
scientifically,
about that. We should be thinking
that's
about how to.
feasible. And however we were put here or however we came about, which was not
Yeah,
Adam and Eve and their 3 or 2 sons. Who did they have sex with? The Adam and Eve's sons. Okay, well, they wouldn't have babies, so they had
each
to screw
other.
their mother. That's disgusting. That's awful.
Well, I think we're also, aren't we all
Related.
like, if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how it happened, then we're all the
Yeah, but if that
production
were the
of like
case, we'd all be retarded,
incest.
but
We're
maybe we
all
were all the way up
incest,
until the
like,
1800s
which
till somebody came along and put in some added some DNA or
grandma,
something. Maybe it's true.
grandma,
I don't know.
we aren't saying
Oh my
spill
god!
the
I
tea. The
gotta
Damen
stop
B would like to
using that
apologize for
word.
the
I
R
don't mean
word
that.
being said.
I mean
That
that
does that does
like
that
dummies.
does not
Sorry.
reflect our beliefs
Yeah,
or
yeah, exactly. I don't mean it,
like gay,
in a
like that's
I
okay.
would never call
Yeah,
a mentally challenged
grandma.
person a retard.
Jesus.
Never. Never
Okay,
ever.
we're gonna move on before
Oh, just shut
we get
up.
going.
Like Michael Scott.
Mm. Okay. Oh my god. Yeah. Just stop
Oh
talking.
god.
Just stop talking. If there is an HR of the
Yeah,
podcast
yeah, they'll
world,
probably take this part
which is the
out.
rules and
Oh, did they
regulations.
even listen? What is it, 60 people? I don't think they care.
Yeah. Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Well,
60 people.
we gotta up that up, move that up a
64.
bit.
Oh,
So that's my
we're
feelings
moving
on
up in the world.
religion. I don't think it's as bad, as,
Mhm,
people might think I think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's a wonderful social thing. I
mhm,
think that they need to be more inclusive to all groups, and that would raise their attendance, which is only good for them. And I think if you're looking down or you're judging someone else outside of your home, you need to turn back around and look inside and take care of that. And that goes for everyone. I don't do that to anyone. I don't do it to you. I don't do it to someone whose marriage maybe is falling apart or maybe I know whatever.
mhm.
That's not my business. It's not my business. My business is in my home. Mhm.
I just hope,
Mhm.
I wish for everyone to have, a great, happy life, and whatever fuels their
Right, and you can
happiness
get
that
these,
doesn't affect other
wigs, just,
people,
like,
you
go on
know, I
Amazon
hope they're
or
able to
wherever,
have.
like, they're so cute. I'm telling you,
Why
10
walk around
minutes
like a
on
piece
my
of trash
head
when you could have
looking
this
fab.
gorgeous
Now,
wig
I wouldn't
on?
go outside with a really big, strong wind, that's the only thing I wouldn't do. I was
And I just wanna
not!
say,
I was
again, grandma was
not!
born in 1950, and she's
1970.
looking so
Yeah, no,
young, like
1970.
45
And back in
max.
1970, Um, church was
This
still
wig?
a big thing, and
Years.
we were sent to church, and we were made and that's why I say, like, I say I don't identify as Christian, but actually I was just reading something because 'cause I'm always reading stuff about it,
Mhm,
and I actually have to pretty much identify as Christian in North America. Just like if you were raised in over in, the Middle East, you'd probably identify as Muslim. Like, even if you said, "I don't believe it, blah, blah, blah." In our essence, it
yeah,
literally is put in there because of the way you're raised and everything, and everybody's, like, those opinions are put in there, and they're hard to get rid of. So, but I do feel I've seen enough death and, like, I just can't buy the whole heaven thing, and I'm sorry, and you know what? Hey, wouldn't it be great if I was totally wrong and I get there and I'm like, "Whoa, look at this party." Wouldn't it be great if it was just the best thing you ever thought of? Like I would go and there'd be like
right?
trays of
Yeah,
mushrooms and beer and drinks and party, and it'd just be like you never got tired. Oh, and you got like
maybe,
30 years younger too.
but see, and so and you got
Yeah,
30 years younger.
no hangover.
Well, in that case, sign me up. I'm just kidding. um, no hangover. So I want to
Mhm.
believe in Greek mythology because I'm fascinated by Greek
Right,
mythology.
and
There's,
don't you
I
think
mean,
that it kind of
horrible stuff, same
intertwines
as
with each other
Christianity that
too? I
went
think that
on
if you
in the
yeah, it
past.
absolutely does. So I and that was something
Yes,
that
it
people believed in
does. Yes.
prior to Christianity. It was literally their religion. And so you
Yep.
can't like I don't know how somebody comes along and just says, "No, that's wrong, this is right." I just don't buy that. And I think you see that they took
Right.
some of that Greek mythology and put it into rewrote or added to the Bible. Like God is sitting up there like Thor. Come on.
So I took a Greek mythology class in university, and the major takeaway was that
Right, in
was,
life. And so is the
these
Bible.
are lessons essentially in stories. So all these stories and lessons, it's like, so what are we taking away? So that was I found really impactful is we got to read like certain
Mhm.
sections or whatever, and we had to write what we took away from that. And a peer group, so we could all post our thoughts and opinions, and we had to reply to at least two and elaborate. So I know I did like religion once, like comparing Greek mythology to Christianity and like the stories and had the
Right.
similarities and stuff. And it's just like essentially they're the same lessons. Um but in Greek
Right,
mythology,
because that was a
men were allowed to
thing
sleep
back
with
then. We
men.
all
Like no
know
one
that was
cared
going
really.
on, and it's
You know,
written about in many, many
yeah,
places. And so it was just a thing that was accepted.
right.
Um, and now and then somebody s- nobody changed that in the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible that says that can't happen. Like there's nothing. It's just that they've taken some things and interpreted it to say that that can't happen.
However, there
Yes,
are
and
bad
that's
things
awful.
though too.
And
Like
men
men
would
would sleep
sleep
with
with in the
boys and like
Bible with
pedophilia
young
and stuff,
girls.
which is just like
And that was
what?
Moses was 820 some years old, which is
There we go.
ridiculous. And his one of his wives was 12. So let's just stop that. I think that that should be and so if we're not taking everything
Yeah.
out of the Bible, every single thing, then you can't pick and choose what you're going to take out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like you should I get
Yeah,
taking the life
exactly.
lessons and the good positive
Yeah.
stories, but if you're going to take it all, then you better take it all. And there's a lot in there that is just not okay. And it was at the time.
Right.
It's just not okay today, right?
Yeah. I know. I do feel if you want to live your life by the Bible and influence other people's lives or
Right.
whatever,
And
then you better
right.
live that Bible to its
Yeah,
full
and then
effect.
you
You can't
better
plant
yeah,
certain
yeah,
crops near
and you
each
better
other.
get prepared to
You
go to jail.
better hit your
Exactly,
wife.
because 'cause you'll be
Like
sleeping with little kids and beating your wife with a
yeah.
stick the size of your thumb. Let's remember that that was okay, and your children, so just get prepared to go to jail if that's how you're gonna live life. Right? And I feel like that some people take that Bible and they
Yeah.
use it for evil purposes. And if you take like again, no woman, I think if a society is going to believe in something, this includes Muslims, this includes Buddhists, anything, then the whole society should have like a compilation together. And that Bible is not a compilation of the entire society. That Bible is a male written for males by males. I'm not buying that. And I've read it. So, and I recommend everybody at least read the readable version. Like you don't have to go and get the one off the off the pew at church that you can't understand a single word that says in there, but there are actual readable versions of the
Oh my
Bible,
god.
which
Yeah.
it is quite an interesting story, but you have to, again, take it with a grain of salt. And so you can't take one piece and say, this is how I'm going to live by this, and not take the whole thing then. And if you take the whole thing, you're an idiot. Like, that's not reasonable. And by the way, deism, reason over religion, was actually the forefathers that wrote the Constitution of the United States of America were almost all deists, and they believed in reason over religion, and they believed in separation of church and state, and that meant no religion in schools, no religion in courts. You had your religion at church, you had your state business there. And now that's all getting, I think
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
It's
And so I
crazy
think
what's going
that
on in
might
the
be another
States, which is
podcast
also
we have to
affecting
do, because
Canada, so
that is causing, like, the
stupid.
abortion issues, the homosexual, like, issues are being attacked again. And like I said, yes, in the States, and they say, well, it won't happen in Canada. It is happening in Canada. There are things that are happening. They're bringing, transgender all of a sudden has become this huge issue in Canada. And what is the population of I
Um,
don't even know. Is there what, 10? Is there 10 people?
it's
I
like
don't even know. I've never,
1%,
in
one
where
it's
I have lived, I've
1%.
always lived
Oh
small
my
town
god.
Canada, and I have never met anyone. And yet, people I talk to are like talking about it all the
Like
time, talking
1
about
or
it, talking about it, talking
2%.
about it. I'm like, who? I don't get it. I just don't.
So, I will say, does it affect your life? This goes back to even, like, think about homosexuals. Do they affect your life in any way, negative way? No, if anything, they're taking men off the street
Yeah,
that could
and
come
I
for your
feel like
woman.
if you're
You're
living in
welcome.
an open
Like, I
society,
am literally
where people are accepting, that also stops that gay man from feeling like he has to get married, have children, and then 20 years down the road ruin their lives. Like, not to like, when you marry someone, you don't just marry that person, you're marrying their
Yeah,
family, you're having children, those children become, everybody's in that family.
mhm,
And then suddenly you wake up one day and go, I just can't do this anymore, I can't do it, I can't. And bam, it's like a bomb goes off in the family. And the children, probably they're like, what, 13, 14, horrible age for divorce, all the issues that go with that. And you're really, let's just welcome gay men to live their lives the way they want to live them, for us ladies not to get rolled up in that, and 20 years later have our lives blown up. A freaking man. And I know a lady, I
amen,
actually know a
sister.
lady that that happened to. She's a relative. And yes,
Oh,
I probably never told you that.
oh, really? Oh,
I don't
shit.
tell a lot of things.
I don't think so. I feel bad. It's like I feel bad for the people who had to go through conversion therapy and who had to find, a woman, settle down and have children with. I also feel bad for the woman being lied to, and
Yeah.
but the thing is, I
Yeah,
know that they
there's
loved each
love,
other.
but what
There was love
happens
there
is,
in
and I
it,
know
but
from this
yeah.
person, is that her whole world exploded. She had no idea. Now, they had a
Mhm,
child. That child now is, um, and I don't know, you can say maybe that's not from that, or maybe it is, but there's mental health issues. She, her heart was literally broken. And I don't know that she ever recovered. She never dated again. She gained a lot of weight, to the point where I believe she's housebound now. And that's what happened. And it's not okay. I would far rather somebody just
damn.
go live their life, and I feel for him. I feel like like it was in the 80s. So again, we're all running around calling everyone gay and making fun. I'm not kidding. It wasn't okay. And it made people go in the closet and do these things. And then he also wound up catching AIDS because he was fooling around, not being safe, whatever. And that's what exploded the whole family. And I'm not sure entirely if he's still with us or not. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
sorry.
Well, on
We
that
will pick
note,
this
thanks
up again.
everyone for
I think we
joining
should
us
have another
today.
conversation about this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, we'll do another episode right after. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us today. And yeah, if you believe in religion, great. Don't force it upon other people. And everyone should just live their lives
Bye.
happy, free, and yeah. Okay, bye. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Damen B, and I hope you enjoyed spilling the tea with me.